first of all, my daddy used to have passes. And one time I found it in his coat jacket, and I says, look at David. Oh, that's over at the Empire. That was the name of the theater. And so he said, let's go. Listen, nobody ever was home. Mother never got home. I was, sometime, she was having funsies. Well, anyway, Daddy be home. And the story will begin where one day I found tickets in my daddy's coat. And I says, look what we got. And we looked, and it was at the Garfield Theater in Milwaukee. Oh, it's good. It says a free pass. So my brother and I went to the theater. Of course, they didn't have afternoon ones. We went when they opened. I think that at that time was 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And being that nobody ever was home with us, we decided we'd go and get home before they got home. And sometime when these things happened to us, when we did things, my mother would be home late, but not as late as we came home, and they were sleeping already. Didn't seem to care. I don't even know if they ever looked in the bedroom. We only had one bedroom, and my sister and my brother and I. Now, let's see. How old was I at that time? That's very important. I would say 8 and 9, because it went from 8 and 9 and 9 and 10 all the way. Then it started the orphanage, that kind of thing. Anyhow, one day it happened that I happened to look at my daddy's. It isn't a coat, it's a jacket. And we found these tickets. I found them. And we says, oh boy, here we go. So we went to this theater, and they opened at 7 o'clock, I guess. Well, my mother was never home anyway. So we both went and got in the theater before.
How'd you get in?
We had our tickets.
Oh, that time.
But yeah, this is a.
How'd you sneak in? There's times you snuck in the theater too.
No, slept.
Oh, slept.
No, never snuck in. No.
I thought you guys snuck in at the top of the balcony.
No, that's where I found him, and I showed him to my brother, which was at that time. His name was Max, but he was never called Max. To the day he died, it was Butchie. They called him Butch, and I naturally we were just a year apart, Butchie. So we went, and we had to walk about a mile to the Colonial Theater from where we lived. And you got to remember how young I was, but I still remember we had 12 blocks, and 12 blocks of ours was a mile. We found that all out. In the meantime, not that night or anything, but we used to go to the show sometime, 2 times a week until we used every ticket he had. And one day my dad found that his pocket was empty, and he says, oh, no, I'm sorry. We came home, and he was waiting for us that time. Otherwise, he would either have been sleeping. Nobody ever paid any attention. And he says, where were we? We said we went to the show, but we didn't think anything of it. They were free tickets, we thought, which they really were. And we said we found these tickets, so we went to the Colonial. And he says, yes, I see that. Now, being that it's that many years ago, you've got to remember, Brad, we didn't know the prices of things. I think we were 10 cents going into the theater, but here it says free. So anyway, we must have done that before my father knew it, maybe 4 times, and then we found it. Well, I'm going to go to the point that when he found that the tickets were missing, he stayed home and waited. That must be where we are. Now, I don't know at that age what he thought. I can't remember that. But when we came in, he says, and where were you too? We said we went to the show, and where did you go? Where did you get the money? Now, this is all something at this age. Remember, 9 and 10, which he was a year younger. And we said we found tickets. We didn't fib. We didn't know we couldn't have them because it said free. So anyhow, we got home at 12 because the Colonial was maybe 2 miles away from our house, but we knew where it was. We were smart on that. It was right near Sears in Milwaukee. We went to it. Oh, whenever the movies changed, what is it? At my age now, I couldn't tell you if they stayed open till 12 or what it was because we just stayed and fell asleep. And when it was closing, they'd take us out of the balcony. That's where we would hide. So then we started home. And I don't remember ever doing it in summer because we didn't get that many tickets. I probably did it 3 times before we were caught. So it would be cold, and we got home naturally when the theater closed. And I would say by thinking now the time would be 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. The pictures are over. So we'd go there, and we didn't have anything else to do. So being in the balcony, we'd fall asleep. And naturally, they have to look. I imagine, because I'm guessing at this, they had to look because they found us one time. And we just go in the balcony and sleep. And when they found us, we went home. But they remembered us. Oh, I think we could only do it 3 times before my daddy found out that there was no tickets in his pocket anymore.
Right.
So, never got a slap. I can't remember ever telling you that my dad slapped my brother or I. And I can't remember ever really having it from my mother. They were always good to us. Got a scolding. And we cried sometime because scoldings are as
Yeah, that could be just as
was
good as a
bad
potch.
because of stealing.
Right.
And being that I was already in Catholic school, I had to go to confession. I can't tell you anything about that. I just remember saying my little confession thing was I was in my last confession was so and so. Unless you want me to tell you how it exactly went, but that was the closest to it. And then we thought we were forgiven, so we just do it again and then go back to confession again. But now this time we were found and we never could go. But I would say, that's many, many years ago, I would say that we did it 3 times before we were caught.
What kind of movies were at the theater?
Nice movies. It wasn't any children movie. It was just regular, like Jean Harlow, you know. And
was it like Gone with the Wind? And...
No. I'm only 9 years old. 10. Gone with the Wind wasn't then. It was when I was a girl married.
Well, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, okay.
I can't think when you figure the year.
I know. I'm just trying to think of any actors like I could.
Oh, Raymond Navarro. Joan Crawford was in a lot of them in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Jean Harlow was. I remember seeing her when I was young. I can't give you the age because you got to figure how old I am now.
Marx Brothers?
Oh, yeah. But we didn't go for the Marx Brothers. We could see the Marx Brothers. We went for old comedies that they had, but most of them were like Jean Harlow, Joan Crawford. I'm trying to think of the men, but I was interested so much in the men. I always liked the pretty girls. I always thought how pretty their hair is. And I even tried to fix my hair at 7 and 8 years old with curling iron. I remember burning an end off of it one time because it was over the stove, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, you had to.
Oh, you had to warm the curling iron over the stove instead of.
And then lick it and touch it. Oh, that's pretty hot.
Oh, jeez.
And I have burned it. And all I did was take a scissors and clip, you know, every little burnt spot I had. And I had bangs. I didn't curl the bangs. I remember that. My hair was not any longer than maybe, not quite down to my shoulders, because Mother a lot of times would cut it off to the tip of my ear, you know, right here, bottom of your ear. And I loved long hair. And she says it's terrible because my hair was straight and bangs. And I was I don't know what you'd say. I was still the girl that loved movies with Joan Crawford and Jean Harlow. I even remember her at that time. And we had some silent movies. Even that we saw. That was Charlie Chaplin. I can't remember all that stuff. That's pretty young. But as I got older, I remember like Joan Crawford and Jean Harlow. They were more modern then. Okay, well, anyhow, that night we came home. Maybe it was the 3rd time. I know we used all the tickets up, and we didn't get any more. And Daddy didn't spank us or anything, but he did say that you better go to confession because you stole and you didn't come to us. Well, I can't say what I said back because we didn't cry, and we knew we weren't going to get a licking, but he made us remember that we stole.